Have you ever stopped to think that the universe might be much stranger than we've been taught? We're taught that space is filled with stars and galaxies, but what if there are regions where almost nothing lives? The very idea sounds absurd because we're used to imagining the cosmos as a sea of light. However, there are holes so gigantic that they make any theory seem incomplete. The most impressive thing is that they aren't errors. They're real, and they change the way we see everything. The largest of these is known as the Booty's Void, nicknamed the Great Nothing. Imagine an entire patch of the universe virtually empty, an expanse that defies our comprehension. It's as if someone had erased part of the cosmic map, leaving a colossal hole amid the brilliance of the galaxies. Behind this mystery lie clues to dark energy, the invisible force accelerating the expansion of the cosmos. And understanding this void could be the key to predicting the future of the universe. But the question goes beyond science. The void also speaks to us on a personal level. After all, isn't it precisely in silence that we often find our most important answers? The Booty's Void is a cosmic reminder that even absence can have value, and that what seems like nothing can hold immense secrets. What you're about to discover isn't just an astronomical curiosity, but a reflection that connects science, philosophy, and existence. Get ready. Diving into the great nothing can change the way you see life. The first time I saw a truly dark sky without light pollution, it was almost a shock. Accustomed to city lights, I hadn't imagined how many stars were hidden above me every night. Those who have never looked up on a night like this might not understand the feeling of insignificance and wonder that invades our hearts. It's as if each bright spot were a whisper of something greater, a reminder that we live immersed in an ocean of distant lights. The silence was so profound that it seemed to increase the brightness of the stars, as if the universe had gained a voice without saying anything. Suddenly, I realized I had never truly seen the night, only a filtered version of it. It's curious to think that if this abundance already frightens us, imagine the opposite, a sky where almost nothing is revealed. This idea stayed with me for years, until I discovered that the cosmos holds places exactly like this, regions where darkness reigns almost completely and emptiness takes center stage. Thinking about this contrast is like pondering the importance of a missing detail in a painting. Imagine visiting a museum and finding a huge canvas, but where most of the surface is blank, devoid of color, shape, or story. This empty space draws more attention than the lines present, precisely because it shatters our expectations. This is precisely the experience the universe offers us with the Booty's Void, a colossal region where galaxies seem to have disappeared. The shock is so great that it defies our natural perception. We grew up believing the cosmos to be a stage filled with stars, but suddenly we discover that there are areas almost barren, as if nature had forgotten to paint them. This is not a distant or exaggerated metaphor. It is a reality proven by astronomers who, while mapping the sky, came across this immense and disconcerting hole. The most striking thing is that this void is not an illusion, not an optical error or instrument failure. It exists on an unimaginable scale, greater than anything we can compare it to in everyday life. It's as if an entire patch of night has been erased, leaving only silence and absence, a dark wound in the fabric of the universe. This contrast forces us to accept that space is not homogeneous, but rather a mosaic of excesses and deficiencies. And here's the intriguing detail. Behind this darkness lies a history of scientific discoveries that have changed the way we see the cosmos. After all, how did astronomers come to realize that the universe, so full of galaxies in every direction, also harbors this silent abyss? This answer begins to be told in the 1980s, when human curiosity decided to map the sky precisely and came across something that seemed impossible, something that would shatter our certainties. In the 1980s, astronomy experienced an unprecedented leap forward. when new technologies allowed us to map the universe much more broadly. Until then, we had only seen the sky piecemeal, observing isolated stars or a few nearby galaxies, but never such a comprehensive view. For the first time, scientists were connecting dots and drawing the cosmic distribution on a large scale, as if mapping an entire city from above. Interestingly, each marked point wasn't an ordinary star, but an entire galaxy with billions of suns, planets, and possibilities. It was during this process that something completely unexpected emerged before the researchers' eyes, a colossal region where there was practically nothing to record. It was as if someone had erased an entire patch of sky, leaving only a silent hole amidst so much cosmic life. This void earned its own name, the Bootes Void, and has since become one of the greatest mysteries of space. To understand the amazement, imagine a researcher who spends years assembling a jigsaw puzzle with thousands of pieces, patiently fitting details together until a complete image emerges. Suddenly, in the center of the scene, a vast space remains where no piece fits, a hole impossible to ignore even if everything else is correct. This was the feeling astronomers had when they realized that where thousands of galaxies should be, there was only darkness. To make the visualization even easier, imagine mapping a city and discovering that right in the middle of it lies a gigantic neighborhood, completely empty, with no streets, no houses, nothing. The shock was so great that, at first, many believed it was a miscalculation, a faulty telescope, or even a flaw in the recordings. But as the data was confirmed by different teams, it became clear. It was no mistake. The void was real, a legitimate part of the cosmic fabric. This discovery opened doors for profound reflection, because it wasn't just an astronomical curiosity. If the universe was born from the Big Bang, spreading matter in all directions relatively uniformly, how could such a vast region exist with virtually no galaxies? This contradiction made it clear that the cosmos wasn't as homogeneous as previously thought, raising questions that shook the entire scientific community. It was necessary to revise theories, re-evaluate models, and accept that there was still much to be explained about the distribution of matter. The Bootes Void became a landmark, not only because of its astonishment, but because it concretely demonstrated how limited our understanding still was. And more than that, it posed a compelling provocation. What would it mean to live in an isolated galaxy within this immense void, surrounded by an almost absolute cosmic solitude where even silence seems to scream? Imagine our galaxy at the center of the Bootes Void. When he looks up, he barely responds. There is no sea of lights, just rare and shy points. The silence is thick, like snow muffling footsteps. Distance gains a face and shows no edges. It's like living in a city that has lost all its neighborhoods. Only his block remained, surrounded by empty blocks. The scale shrinks courage and expands thinking. Time slows down, like in empty rooms. You exist, but the environment doesn't talk back. The question arises, could you bear to live like this? To visualize, think of an island isolated by thousands of kilometers. There are no roads, no ports, no lighthouses on the horizon. The radio hisses static. Signals don't arrive in time. Every message sent seems to fall into the sea and sink. Routine becomes a dialogue with its own echo. Hope learns to count on long cycles. The calendar is measured by tides, not visits. Even curiosity hurts because there is no one to share. It is physical loneliness, but also psychological and cultural. The Bootes Void translates this condition on a cosmic scale, and it makes any question sound bigger than us. The visual impact would be shocking even to trained eyes. The sky would show few galaxies, lost in deep black. The windows at night would seem closed from the inside. Cosmic guidance would become an exercise in patience. The sense of belonging would be tested with every look, and consciousness would perceive the universe as radically unequal. It's not just absence. Emptiness shapes trajectories and stories. It influences movements, dilutes encounters, changes time counts. Faced with this, the mind asks for an explanation, and science responds. Why are there these voids, and who carved them into the fabric? To move on, we need to understand the physics of nothing. When we speak of the cosmic void, we are not dealing with an observational error, but with a fundamental feature of the universe itself. Matter is not distributed uniformly, as if it were a smooth, well-finished painting. Instead, it is concentrated in filaments that form a kind of network, known to astronomers as the cosmic web. The Bootes void is precisely one of these regions where the density of galaxies is much lower than average, as if it were a hole opened in the fabric of the cosmos. This pattern began to form shortly after the Big Bang, when small density fluctuations were amplified by gravity. Where there was more matter, clusters and superclusters of galaxies emerged. Where there was less, the void grew ever larger. Thus, what we call the Big Nothing is actually a natural consequence of the laws that have shaped the universe since its inception and continue to operate today. A simple way to visualize this process is to think of bread dough rising in an oven, something anyone has seen or can imagine. As the dough expands, air bubbles form, creating full and hollow areas. The universe works similarly. As matter spreads, it clumps together into filaments, and between these filaments remain vast, nearly empty spaces. The Bootes void is one of these air bubbles, but at dimensions that defy human imagination. To give you an idea, its size is so colossal that thousands of galaxies like the Milky Way could fit within it, and there would still be plenty of space left over. Even so, it's not an absolute void. There are a few isolated galaxies within it, like small islands lost in a dark ocean, surviving in complete solitude and without the company of nearby neighbors to share the space. What makes these voids even more fascinating is that they aren't just unimportant holes, but veritable natural laboratories for modern science. It is precisely in these places that the clearest clues about dark energy, this mysterious force accelerating the expansion of the universe, are revealed. Where there is almost no matter, the effects of this energy become more evident, as if nothingness acted as a blank screen where invisible traces can be seen. Studying regions like the Bootes void, therefore, means seeking answers about cosmic destiny and the very structure of space. It's curious to think that silence can tell us so much, and that absence can carry valuable information. This paradox opens the way for an even deeper reflection. What is the true value of the void, and why can it be so important for science and also for human life? The Bootes void is not just an astronomical curiosity, but an essential study space. Here, scientists can clearly observe the effects of dark energy. This mysterious force invisibly accelerates the expansion of the universe. In regions full of galaxies, its effect is masked by matter. In the void, every detail appears as if on an illuminated stage. It's like hearing a whisper in a quiet room, impossible to ignore. Nothingness becomes a kind of natural amplifier of secrets. This is the paradox. In cosmic silence, answers become clearer. Bootes void shows that absence can also carry information. To understand the void is to understand the destiny of the cosmos in its essence. Nothingness, after all, is not empty. It is the key to deciphering the future of the universe. But the void doesn't just teach us about physics, it also talks to us. In life, it is common for the greatest lessons to come from silence and solitude. The constant noise of cities often hides important reflections. In moments of pause, we are forced to face our thoughts. The Bootes void can be seen as a metaphor for this very human experience. When everything seems absent, space appears to discover new strengths. What is missing stops being a failure and becomes an opportunity for growth. Just as the cosmos uses voids to expand, we expand in absence. Philosophy has always pointed out the transformative power that silence possesses. It does not represent defeat, but a chance to reconnect with what is essential. And this shows that even absence can be as valuable as presence. This union between science and philosophy changes the way we look at emptiness. It is not just a dark hole, but an active part of the universal balance. It works like the interval between musical notes, which gives meaning to the melody. Without pauses, there is no contrast, no rhythm, no real learning. Booty's void reminds us to respect what we call nothingness. It is in it that both the invisible laws and our limits are hidden. Absence gains value because it reveals what presence alone does not show. Cosmic silence holds secrets about dark energy and expansion, and human silence holds answers that change our personal trajectory. This paradox is the heart of the mystery. Nothingness is never just emptiness. And it is this idea that paves the way for the last point, the great mystery. The boot's void remains an enigma that intrigues the scientific community. Even with so many technological advances, there are still more questions than answers. The main question revolves around dark energy, this invisible and powerful force. Is it really constant throughout the history of the universe? Or can it vary over time, changing the rate of cosmic expansion? If it is variable, predictions about the future may be incomplete or wrong. Some models suggest that dark energy may even disappear one day. Others suggest it could intensify and tear the cosmos to shreds. The void in this context becomes the stage for bold and uncomfortable hypotheses. It is as if nothingness holds secrets capable of redefining all cosmology, and this uncertainty is precisely what keeps the search alive and increasingly intense. But the mystery is not limited to the equations and physical theories we try to put together. It also affects our philosophical and even spiritual view of reality. The cosmic void forces us to reflect on the meaning of existing in the midst of nothingness. If even space is imperfect and full of holes, why expect perfection from life? The boot's void shows that even in absolute silence, there can be clues to meaning. And it reminds us that the unknown should not be a source of fear, but of fascination. After all, it is from curiosity that humanity's greatest discoveries arise. Every gap in knowledge serves as an invitation to explore deeper. It is at this point that science and philosophy become inseparably intertwined. The void, in a way, also reflects the internal voids that we all carry, and maybe that's why he impresses us so much, even from a distance. In the end, the big nothing remains an open question before us. Will we ever truly understand the nature of dark energy? Or does the universe hold eternal secrets beyond our understanding? The Booty's void symbolizes this boundary between what we know and what we do not know. He invites us to accept that mystery is not a flaw, but part of the game. It is in the unknown that the beauty and also the restlessness of the cosmos resides. Every void is a reminder that we still have a lot to learn, and that the universe always has a hidden card to surprise. Therefore, the big nothing is not just absence, but constant provocation. It raises questions that drive science and inspire philosophy, and it prepares the ground for us to reflect on how to live in the face of this infinity. The Booty's void showed us that even nothingness can be filled with meaning. If the universe holds gigantic voids, perhaps our own voids also have value. It's in silence that we hear what we've never heard, and it's in absence that we find hidden clues about who we are. Science has already proven that even space needs holes to evolve, and perhaps life works the same way. Now think, how do you deal with the voids in your life? Do you avoid silence at all costs, or do you see it as an opportunity for growth? The Boot's void reminds us that what seems like absence can actually be a space for discovery. And this reflection isn't just cosmic, it's personal. Are you willing to look at your own voids and discover what they might reveal? If this journey through the great nothing has touched you, be sure to continue exploring with me. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments. After all, each question you ask can open new windows to infinity. The universe is full of mysteries, and together we can continue to unravel them one by one. This was just one part of the journey, and the next ones promise to go even deeper.